There were many involved: the Pentagon, the executive branch, and the CIA. And several people with prior knowledge were heavily invested and made small fortunes by their own government. And then there was Israel, the dancing Israelis who posed for pictures and told the FBI that Israel now has hope that the world will understand us. The news media caught the same sentiment from a smiling Israeli girl.
Well, big catastrophe, and I'm Israeli, and I hope that now people understand what we have to deal with, the kind of people that we're dealing with on a day-to-day basis.
Over 100 Israelis were arrested. They were trained in military intelligence and explosives, posing as art students with fake IDs and infiltrating government buildings. And they were all let go, including over a dozen who were living in the World Trade Center as part of the World Views Artist in Residence program. They occupied floors 90 and 91, where walls were unfinished and structural beams were exposed. The U.S. government response was to destabilize the Middle East and to start viewing the American people as domestic. This is known as a false flag, and then blaming it on an enemy as an excuse to justify war. Israeli intelligence and the IDF had detailed knowledge of Hamas's plan weeks before October 7th. IDF units were moved from Gaza, where the attack occurred, just days before the attack. Israel's state-of-the-art surveillance system somehow didn't work that day, and hours went by before a proper military response. Every cell we know of seems to be associated with the CIA, Mossad, and MI6. 9/11 was blamed on CIA asset Osama bin Laden, and Hamas is no different. Netanyahu has made it clear on multiple occasions that he supports Hamas, and the evidence shows that they are also a creation of the intelligence agencies. A former director of Israel's intelligence agency, Shin Bet, says they helped Hamas hold power.
We did something very, very simple. We did everything in order to make sure that Hamas will go on controlling Gaza, and Palestinian Authority will control the West Bank, so they will fight each other. So what we did, with the permission of our Prime Minister, is to let Qatar to transfer a huge amount of money in cash, probably more than $1.4 billion, and to make sure that they will be able to send, people to work in Israel and to achieve or to get intelligence if they need. By doing it, we increase the power of Hamas.
And a former prime minister of Israel confirms this.
So are you saying Benjamin Netanyahu deliberately boosted Hamas to try to prevent a Palestinian state?
Yeah, sure. He deliberately and systematically even told, is on record, whoever wants to avoid the threat of a two-state solution has to support my policy of paying protection money to the Hamas.
Having helped to build up Hamas, Netanyahu has now vowed to destroy it.
On the campaign trail, Donald Trump promised to deport those protesting Israeli war crimes.
Unlike liberal Kamala, I will support Israel's right to win its war on terror. You have to support that. Got to win, got to finish it off. And instead of pandering to the jihad sympathizers and America-hating radicals, we will deport them. We will deport them very quickly. We have no choice.
When it comes to Israel, who has given him over $230 million, Trump keeps his promises. For simply writing an op-ed article on the Israeli of Gaza, Rumeysa Ozturk was kidnapped off the street by unidentified plainclothes federal police.
You guys covering your faces? You want to take those masks off? Is this a kidnapping? Yeah, you don't look like it. Why are you hiding your faces? Why are you hiding your faces? Can I see some faces here? How do I know this is the police? Seems like bullshit to me. Certainly looks like it.
Arguably the cornerstone of American freedom, the First Amendment of the U.S. Constitution is to protect the right of the people to peacefully express their views, no matter who they may offend. But Trump's Make America Great Again movement is clearly about Israel first, and Israel is getting their money's worth.
People are demonstrating with passion. These ignorant demonstrators. Who are they demonstrating for? For these murderers, these rapists, these mass killers. This is a reflection of a deep rot that has pervaded the intellectual hub of free societies. And this vilification of Israel, the Jewish people, and Western values has been propagated by a systemic alliance between the ultra-progressive left and radical Islam. It must be resolutely fought by civilized societies to safeguard their future. This is why we must all commend President Trump's decisive actions against anti-Semitism, and we must pressure other governments to do the same.
MAGA is leading the way in censorship, but that's not good enough for the Zionists who control America.
Anti-Semitism is not just an age-old prejudice. It is a contemporary crisis manifesting on campuses across the nation. It is not enough for individuals or institutions to merely claim they are not anti-Semitic. As my father once taught me, it is not enough for people, especially public figures, to be neutral or not be anti-Semitic. One must be anti-anti-Semitic. We must demand the same of our universities and government institutions. This hearing, in my opinion, is an attempt to be just that, anti-Semitic.
There is no voting your way out of this quagmire. Israel has control over the U.S. government.
Government can do in 2 months more than any organization can do in its lifetime. The government, the United States government or the government of France or the government of any other country, has the power to rein in anti-Semitism in a much more effective way. And you know, people say, well, you know, the governments are not in the business of changing the way people think. That's true, but, you know, to my thinking, most people who are, you know, anti-Semites, most of these people running around, we're not going to win their hearts and minds because they don't have hearts and they don't have minds. So, you know, how are we going to, there's no reason to think we're ever going to convince them, but we can deport them, we can put them in jail, we can make their lives miserable, we can cut off their funding, and that's what the Trump administration is doing for the first time.